I have a very special video for all of you today. I did an email interview with the community manager of Once Lost Games, the creator of Wayward, the spiritual successor to the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. This discussion was purely on the upcoming crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. One important thing to note is that the backers of specific tiers may get access to an early build sometime in 2025. So you can actually play the game on a starter island, get the feel for the game systems and give feedback to the team. In this video, I asked the team some questions about the Kickstarter campaign. Hopefully these answers by them will give you guys an idea on their thought process. So let's get to it then. Can you share the team's progress in 2023? What internal milestones have been hit which has resulted in the decision to start a Kickstarter campaign?
While 2022 saw lots of preliminary implementations on key basic systems such as a first pass on combat, a simple UI and inventory system, and basic procedural buildings, in 2023 we were able to enhance those systems and bring in lots of other important ones, as well as really dial up the visuals and graphical fidelity. Our water system was enhanced and incorporated with our cosmology and weather systems. Boats were added, though they were a bit rough at the time, and have been greatly improved this year. Dialogue, UI, and inventory systems were all enhanced and graphically improved. We incorporated basic settings options like graphical fidelity, music volume, etc. Magic and combat have been improved and tweaked, and we have added in some basic archery and stealth mechanics, and even climbing. Our mass crowd system was introduced. Dungeons have been upgraded, allowing for many more multiple levels and layout designs. A preliminary version of the quest system has been added, with updates and quest tracking in the journal. Our book system was added, and several of the lore books we have already shared with the public were integrated. On the writing front, we established our 5-act formats for quests, as well as wrote out lore for all the major factions, such as the noble houses and the orcish clans, and some of the smaller ones you will encounter in the prologue chapter. We also increased the amount of lore books we have written so far. Overall, we have done enough to give a good feel of what players can expect from the game, especially in the graphical department.
Why has the Wayward Realms team not been able to attract publishers? With names like Ted Peterson and Julien Lafay and the incredible collective experience of the team, I assume that the publishers would be clambering over each other to partner with y'all. Please share your experience with the community.
Well, we have definitely attracted them, but we are not making a conventional game, at least not by modern standards. We have spoken with several publishers, some smaller names and some more recognisable ones, while one or two have passed on the idea, with it simply being out of their price range or avenue of game they like to pursue. Most have simply wanted a solid, playable build to try out. With such a systems-heavy game as we are making, this has been what has taken us the longest to land a publishing deal. For that reason, we decided that a Kickstarter would help us speed along that process and help us get a solid, playable to showcase to publishers. We have also passed on a few potential publishers as we felt that our values did not align. We are out to make an amazing game. We have a clear vision we believe in, and we want a publisher who feels the same.
In the spring of 2022, in an article on PCGamesN.com, the technical director of Wayward Realms, Julien Lafay, said the following: Kickstarter doesn't raise enough money. It'll be enough to make an RPG, but I'm not into it to make an RPG again. I want to make the greatest RPG that's ever been made, and that's going to require a little more than you can raise on Kickstarter. So my question is, 2 years on, what's changed?
The simple answer is nothing, and we will still need a publisher to fund the full development. The more detailed answer is the state of the industry has changed. In the years since, lots of studios have been shuttered, many games have been cancelled, and publishers have been cutting back on spending. As such, we know we need to prove that the Wayward Realms is a product that people want to play and showcase a solid playable build in order to get a good publishing deal.
Tell us about the Kickstarter program. What are the expectations for the team from this campaign, and what will the money raised be used for?
Our aim is to raise enough money to fund the team, as many members as we can, full-time for 1 year to get an early access playable build out. It would be only a prologue chapter, but feature most of the systems that you would expect in the final game. The funds go directly to paying team members, purchasing needed hardware, and paying software licenses and operating fees.
Has the team planned to add stretch goals which will unlock additional rewards and features for the game?
Yes. We have a few stretch goals. We are keeping things very modest and in the realm of possibility. The only platform we are focused on now is PC, Steam specifically. We don't have a proper release date yet, only that it will be in early access sometime in 2025, but we will keep contributors updated as things progress. One of the stretch goals worth mentioning is the amount of races which we will have in the game at launch. We are planning only 2 with the potential to add more via the stretch goals. This is because we want each race to feel unique, from the way they look and move to the way armor and clothing fits to the individual racial bonuses. By limiting them, we can be sure that we have the proper resources to execute them to their fullest potential.
Regarding rewards and tires, has the team figured out what rewards people will want, and more importantly, figuring out what rewards you can afford to produce? Every reward will involve costs. These include production, shipping, time and labor. Tell us about your thought process that has gone into creating these tires.
The tier rewards are pretty grounded for the most part, consisting mainly of digital rewards and several ways for players to leave their mark on the game. Our only physical reward will be a book, written by Ted, and will be limited in number. We know fans would really like more physical rewards, but we really want to keep things simple to make sure that we are able to deliver on our promises and keep folks from having to wait for years in order to receive their rewards, something that often happens with these types of things.
I'm assuming your team is working on a Kickstarter trailer video. Can we expect cinematic in-game footage? The team talking about the game, the lore, the setting, the game mechanics, and the virtual game master and more?
We have 2 videos lined up, one consisting of a more behind the scenes, look at our team at work while explaining what the game is and why we are doing the Kickstarter. The second is more gameplay oriented and detailing what an adventurer can expect while exploring the world.
I understand that backers of specific tires may get access to an early access build. Now, when can backers playtest this build? What gameplay systems can be tested? Can one experience the proc gen system or the questing system or the virtual game master? Finally, will backers experience the massive scale that Wayward Realms is promising?
We are aiming for a 2025 release date for the early access build, but don't have a set date just yet. We will of course keep contributors up to date as things progress, and we do have a more solid time frame for it. The aim is to have nearly all the systems up and running at some level, though they will continue to be further updated and enhanced as we continue to work on the build. This includes early versions of the VGM and city and dungeon proc gen. It does not include our procedural terrain system yet, and the build will be limited to the starting island of Ijar, which is roughly 140 square kilometres in size. That is comparable, if not larger, than most modern game worlds. The aim is to give players what most would consider a complete game experience, though it is just the prologue chapter in which they can experience the full gameplay loop, ally themselves with several different factions, experience a few world events and full narratives for the island's factions.
Finally, I would like to know if getting a publisher or an investor is still a long-term goal for Once Lost Games. How will the Kickstarter campaign help in this endeavor?
Yes, we will need a publisher to continue development past the prologue chapter, and we are quite clear about this goal on Kickstarter. The ultimate goal is to create the early access build and take that to publishers for further funding. With the community's contributions, we will not only be able to show publishers that there is a strong demand for this game, but with their feedback we can be sure to present something that is engaging, polished and fun to play.
So there you have it guys, the Kickstarter campaign for Wayward Realms will start in May, and the fact that all of us will get a playable build sometime next year makes all of this very exciting. But ultimately, developing the full game will cost a lot of money, much more than what Once Lost Games can get via the Kickstarter campaign. They have been very open about the situation from the start. They said that the main purpose of Kickstarter is to prove that there is interest in such a game to other investors or publishers. I don't understand why Bethesda or Microsoft does not get involved. After all, Ted and Julian were key people for Bethesda back in the 90s. Todd Howard can get Once Lost Games under Bethesda, and give them the resources and let the team do their thing. It would be very attractive for Bethesda too to have the Wayward Realms IP under their umbrella. Imagine Ted and Julian back at Bethesda. That would be something. Obsidian did it. They onboarded veterans Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyarsky, the original creators of Fallout, to create the Outer Worlds for Obsidian. So if Obsidian can do it, why can't Bethesda do it? But unfortunately, we also have to understand the reality that modern Bethesda has lost a lot of reputation. Maybe lots of followers of once lost games won't be happy if Bethesda ever got involved. Who knows? Anyway, how much money do you think once lost games can raise? Can they raise $1 million? If you look at the game Kingdom Come Deliverance, this game also had a Kickstarter campaign back in 2014, and that game hit the Kickstarter goal in 36 hours and got more than £1 million UK. So if a game from an unknown developer can generate £1 million UK, then surely a team working on the spiritual successor to the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall can raise more funds and easily meet their goals. It will need targeted marketing, and hopefully all the major gaming media companies and large YouTubers can cover this campaign. Anyway, that was a discussion on the Kickstarter campaign of Once Lost Games. Now that you have all the information and data, will you back them? What questions do you have for the team? Do write in comments below and I shall get them answered for you. Here's wishing the best of luck to the Once Lost Games team. I'll leave you with Dream Time as usual, and all the relevant links are in the description. Do join and support the team. This is Magic Addict signing off. Until next time, may the gods of the archipelago watch over you.